I really wanted to be, a finance reporter and like really talk about those hard things, because I think also there's certain, especially at that time, there's certain industries that like women weren't super prevalent in. I think that like you could say that potentially about tech, especially then, but like finance was one of those where there weren't a lot of voices that were, it's that kind of that thing of like finding a niche where you can be, different. I think that's part of it too. But that's what I wanted to do. And there wasn't a lot of female voices in that space. And so that when I became a budget analyst and got to kind of combine both of those, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it really instilled into me this fiscal responsibility. Mm-hmm. I feel so lucky that that was my first job. I had great bosses that were really like, we are servants of the taxpayer dollars. And that is something that is like fundamental to what I push down to my staff, but also it drives my decisions, because I think that if you have that as your baseline, you're always going to make decisions that aren't really so narrow that you're not thinking about the perspectives that may not be immediately obvious.
Right. Yeah. There's nothing better than finding what you want to do, finding your place, right? Finding I enjoy coming to work every day because I feel like I'm making a difference, and it's also stimulating my brain.
Yeah.
Not just punching in and punching out every day, just like, why am I here kind of thing, right?
100. Yeah. I think I remember my mom told me this recently, and I have no recollection of it, but it sounds very much like, my mom's amazing, but she also will say stuff in a way that you're like, I think that meant to be a compliment, but it was a little rough. But she was like, well, yeah, you weren't going to be an early bloomer or something like that, and I knew you would figure out what you wanted to do, but it wasn't going to happen when it happened for other people, and I'm just like, let's stop talking right now. But so I was in my early 30s when I got that position, and it didn't pay awesome. It was an entry-level position, but it was one of those things where I knew I would, I wanted to get more of that. I'm involved in how this big system works, and what I'm doing is changing or helping my state.
Yeah.
And I think it's also my Achilles heel, because when people say, what are you going to do after this? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't. And I wonder, is that the thing that really I have to have some element of that? And then I'm never gonna own a giant house that I have rooms I don't go to every day, because public service isn't, I'm well compensated. I don't have any complaints, but you're never going to retire early, or do something like that. And so my entrepreneurial dreams, I don't know if I'll get into it and I'll be like, no, it's not, I need that thing, that service aspect of it. That's what really is, drives me. And so, a couple of years from now, I'll probably have a crisis of conscience and be like, what am I going to do? But I've been really lucky to identify that and be able to generate the satisfaction you need, but also see change that I've impacted, especially for the place that I love.
Right.
Getting to serve during the pandemic was that was the honor of a lifetime. Mm-hmm. Because there were so many people that needed help. And I say this often when people ask why. That was when I took the job, I'm jumping around here, but when I took the job in unemployment and workforce, it was May of 2020 when the pandemic had just happened. And there was so much desperation just on so many little levels, but with people, because, everything had been shut down. I think that if public service is the thing that drives you, if making sure that you're making an impact, I don't see how I could have said no. It was a chance of a lifetime to help so many people in ways that were tangible. And so it wasn't ever that I thought, I was just can I be the best person to do it? That was really the question for me, not would I do it? Of course I would do it. Because there's literally 4 million people that are going through something they've never gone before, and so many of them have had their lives just ripped out from underneath them, and I can make an impact on that. I can help fix that.